Hey guys, welcome back to Minor League Minute, and we got an exciting interview today. Of course, we got Carly Oliver. Carly, give him a wave from the Madison Nightmares.
Hi.
She is the second baseman there, and she is also the second baseman for the University of Cumberland Patriots. Carly has had an amazing season in her first go or in the inaugural season of the NWL Softball. I think she's been a forefront leader, and we get finally some time to ask her some questions that we've been dying to ask. So let's get things started. We're going to start out a little bit more with the deeper thought questions. Obviously, no pressure here, again, but we're going to start out with a little bit of the deeper thought questions. So my first question is, it's a brand new league with a lot of new players coming into it, and especially you, you knew that. But what was it like in the beginning, getting used to your new teammates? Because none of you guys probably played before, and maybe if you did play, you may have one or two that played on the same team. So what was that transition like? Getting used to your teammates and learning each other, knowing that you're going to be playing for a whole summer together.
It was definitely like one of those moments where you were like, "Oh my gosh." Like once I stepped foot in Madison, I was like, "Okay, this is real." But I'm personally did not know one person, like coach, player, anything. I knew nothing about this league, and I really didn't until like a week before I had to be up there. And so getting there that first night, we went to a Mallards game actually and just kind of got the whole softball team together before practice started. And I got there and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like we're spending the next like 9 weeks together. This is crazy." But it literally like we clicked like that. Like it is I can't even describe the friendships that we built in that 9 weeks. Like these girls are like we left yesterday and we're already like Snapchatting each other, texting each other about how we miss each other already. And the friendships that we built, it's so special, and it's just one of those things that you have to experience it to like realize it. And I think even like my people from Kentucky like see it from the outside how close we got, and like they're just like, "I'm so happy for you. I'm glad that you took that leap of faith," because it really was a leap of faith. I went in very blind, not knowing a thing, and it really turned out to be one of the best experiences ever, like probably the best summer softball wise of my life.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because again, I talked to Paige. She said it was a big transition. Not knowing too many people, and I can't imagine just getting in there and getting kind of thrown into this pool of talented softball players and having to make a team. And from what I understand, there wasn't a ton of time to get to like understand in bond, but
Hmm.
sometime.
Yeah, I think like at this point in our careers though, like we're kind of all like if you chose to do this, like you know that every player on that team loves softball, loves the game, like wants to get better, wants to develop, wants to win. Like you have to love softball to be willing to spend your 8 or 9 weeks of summer off of college softball to go play more. So we were all like it felt really comfortable to know we were on like the same page with that. So I think that bonded us like right off the bat.
Okay, perfect. So then you were part of the first 64, and that was a big thing coming into this season. That you guys are the inaugural team, in the first generation. But as future generations begin to kind of take over, like what does that mean, and like how does that feel knowing that you kind of laid the groundwork for all these other girls and all these other women, really talented softball players. You were, this was you. You guys were the first ones. What does that kind of feel like?
It's the word that comes to mind is just special. It's like really fulfilling to be able to know that like future teams are going to look back on our teams and be like, okay, like they started this, like they laid the groundwork. We just kind of wanted to give a good impression of the league in general, and like especially Madison. Obviously I'm a little biased, so in Madison our crowds were just absolutely more than we could have ever asked for every single game. And I think that just being able to always say like I was on team one, like me and my girls started team one, like it's just so special. And I think that every time that I return to Madison, all of my we've already talked about how we're going to go and watch like future Nightmares games. And it's so special, and it's something like it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I think that just like empowering the younger girls that like saw us out there in Madison, I think that that is more than I could have ever asked for personally. Like I went in there obviously just like expecting to develop as a player, as a leader, and I got so much more out of it than I could have ever asked for it, just in that aspect of being able to set the groundwork and just like be that role model for like younger players coming into play as a Nightmare, or just younger players that are fans of the Nightmares. So super special, and I definitely like came back to Kentucky with a super full heart in that aspect. So
It's a great response. And you kind of mentioned it before already, and I'm sure you've seen young girls, young fans attending your games. But as you played with the Nightmares and now with the Patriots back at school, but what advice would you give to them to get into your footsteps one day? Because you are playing at like the highest level, and you're playing at a lot of people are watching you. You have a lot of young fans with eyes on you. What would be your advice for them, just to get into your footsteps, hopefully one day?
My advice would just be to just love the game and just to play it the right way. And obviously that comes with a lot. Just understanding that it is just a game at the end of the day and that it doesn't define you. You know, how you play does not define the player that you are. And I think that the way that you love the game and treat the game is everything. And I think that's something that I kind of just take a lot of pride in is I just try to if people come and watch me play one game, I want them to see like through my actions that I love this game and that I've given a lot to it. And I think that would be my biggest advice, just to go in there and understand it's a lot easier said than done, but like the stats and the results that doesn't define who you are and like the leader that you can be on the field. So I think just keep pushing. The grind is super tough when you're in those young ages that those girls are. Like you're playing every day, playing all summer. Like just keep pushing, and it's so worth it in the end. And I think that once you get past like certain points in your life and like you end up like achieving the dream of playing college ball, like it makes you love the game even more. So just keep going, keep grinding it out, and it's so worth it in the end.
That's great advice. Um, yeah, and we kind of talked pre-interview. You've seen a lot of those young fans, and you've been very interactive with them. From as far as I can see, I've seen it from social media. You getting involved, which kind of leads again to my next question. But you this first season, you've been kind of a big name. Let's be honest. You've been popping up all around on the Nightmares Twitter, and I've had recaps where I mentioned you. You made ESPN top 10 plays. So you've definitely made a statement here in this first season. But what is it like knowing that in this inaugural season that you've been kind of one of the forefront players? Everybody contributed something, but I think a lot of attention got drawn to you and a couple other players. But what does it feel like knowing that you've been such a pivotal player in this league?
I think it's super special, but I honestly cannot say like that it would have been anywhere near like what it would have been without my team. I think that coming in here and playing for this team really like filled my cup up, and I didn't even realize that was what I was seeking in Madison. But once I got there and like I experienced that team, I think that they just brought out the best in me, and like they made me want to perform for them and just perform for Madison. And I think that their support and the way that they believed in me and the way that we all believed in each other, it made us shine. And it's something you can't say that you experience with every team, that's for sure. Like it's something you don't take for granted when you do find it. There's no way to describe how that team, like what they did for me, and that they probably don't even realize it, but they're always going to hold a special place in my heart. And I think that that is like I owe all my success and the credit to them, because they really just brought out the best of me. So I have to give them credit where credit's due, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Nightmares. You guys had a really good season. You did come in second in
Hmm.
standings wise. Habaneros were really good, but you guys really had a phenomenal season. I mean, every team really did. Just to get off and running is something special with this league, and have such success that you saw this season. Like having good attendance numbers, and obviously
Hmm.
I'm here talking to you. You're capturing a lot of attention. I'm hoping to capture more attention for you guys. Try to get the name out there because it's a pretty special thing to have even when I saw it 2 years ago in 2022, it was, I believe, announced that they're going to come out with a softball league. I was really, like, wow, this is going to be a really big thing because it hasn't happened in this area before. I've only heard of a few other leagues that it happens in, and those are typically, I think, in the South. I've heard Texas, California, Florida, I think, has one or something.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see one in the Midwest and then to go across a couple states. And I'm hoping it expands next year. I'm hoping Green Bay gets a team for sure, because that's where I'm kind of from. I'm from the Green Bay area. But I'm hoping we get a team. And from what I've heard, now this is all hearsay, that
Mhm.
there is going to expected to be an expansion of 2 to 6 teams. Um, but I mean, just being a landmark player that you are, when I saw you make ESPN top 10 plays, I was watching in the morning. I almost spit out my coffee because I'm like, I just had her as a player of the week before or whatever, and then she made ESPN top 10 plays, and then I'm like, well,
That was such a cool experience, and I'm a big Reds fan, and I think I was right in front of, I think, who was I in front of? Who was on
Ellie
the
De La Cruz.
I think it was Fairchild. Yeah,
Okay,
in the outfield, one of his catches. So I was like, wow, that's really cool. But that was definitely super, super unexpected, I think. But it was really fun, definitely.
yeah, and well, I'm a Cubs guy, but yeah, I when I saw you in the morning, because I typically try to just get a little bit of watching in, and then I usually go to work and that sort of thing. But when
Hmm.
I caught you, and then I saw it on Twitter that it was actually you, because I was like, is that her? Like, it looks like kind of her. I mentioned her last week. I know she plays that
Yeah,
second base position. Um, and then when I saw you retweet it and post about it, I'm like, well, there she is. She did make it. That was really cool. And then I was
yeah,
like, wow, like, it's just a testament to, like, you know, the whole league as itself, just getting out there and, I mean, literally, you started from scratch and you're now
yeah.
creating something. And I think, this first year has been phenomenal. And I hope it continues to grow just in the same pattern that it has been. But so here's kind of a little bit, because the season is over. We'll get actually. You know what? We'll take this next question and then we'll go to that one. But you're one of the athletes, and I know there's a lot of them because I talked to one from Southern Alabama as well. That is not
Hmm.
from the Midwest. You're from, I don't know what you would consider it. Kentucky is the South, kinda
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely the South, if anything.
Central South. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to phrase it. It's kind of like Virginia, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you're not from the Midwest. What was that? Because it's a totally different environment up here. I would say it's I think we're Midwest friendly. You go to Quick Trip. They said see you next time every time. But
Hmm.
what was the transition in culture? How was that?
Yeah. So honestly, I'd never been to Wisconsin before in my life. I really haven't been. That's probably I mean, I've been up like to New York and that side, but I've never been to the Midwest. That's for sure. And I didn't really have a lot of expectations going into it, but I absolutely love Madison. They just welcomed me in with open arms. It was really nice to have a bunch of local girls on the team too, because we could go and like they would show us around like their area, or like we'd go to her house or their house. And so that was really fun to just be able to experience like their like home base and like stuff like that. So as far as like the culture, and I also stay with the host family, like were just precious. I love them. They were so nice. I went to a Brewers game while I was up there. That was super fun. As far as like the weather was something that kind of surprised me. In Kentucky, we get like all 4 seasons and everything. They're pretty decently mild. There's some hot days, but I was like packing like sweatshirts and stuff to go up to Wisconsin. And I got there, I was like, oh my goodness, it is hot. So that kind of surprised me. I don't know why I thought it was going to be a little chillier, but it was definitely hot up there. But that's one thing that like all the people from Wisconsin told me. They were like, usually like it doesn't rain this much, and in the winter like it's super fun to be in Wisconsin, like Madison, in the summer. It's beautiful in the summer, but in the winter it's awful. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I can only imagine how cold it gets up there." But it was definitely like I didn't expect it to be as hot as it was. And they said they've never seen rain the way that they've seen it this summer. I don't know if you saw on social media, but one night at Warner Park, our parking lot like flash
Yep.
flooded, like totaled a car.
Yep.
Like it was crazy. So I've definitely like didn't expect any of that, I feel like. But overall it was so much fun. Like I definitely know I always have like a home in Madison. Definitely will visit again. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the Midwest for sure.
Well, you should definitely come up during winter when it's about -10
Oh.
and the wind
Mm.
blowing. Heck,
Ooh, yeah,
heck,
that's like I'm a summer girl through and through. So when I heard them talking about the winters there, I was like, "Oh my
oh,
gosh!"
winters
Like,
can be brutal, and they're a lot longer than 3 months. They usually
oh
start in.
my
Um, I mean, sometimes kids in trick or treating or wearing jackets underneath their costumes,
god. Ugh.
like full on winter jackets, and it's just the way
Yeah,
we live. And then we get snow. Like this year, we had Blizzard Bennett, and it was
oh my
a couple feet of snow in a matter of 24 hours, and it was so I obviously cleared the driveway. You're getting that, and snow blowing is not like lawn mowing; it's a lot heavier pushing. And
yeah,
also in wearing snow gear, so it gets you all tired out and sweaty. Thank God I don't have a huge driveway, but it's
yeah. Oh my
definitely part of the way we
goodness.
live. And then like ice.
It snows like 5 inches in Kentucky, and everybody freaks out, goes and buys milk and bread. Like, yeah, we're not made for that.
Yeah, no, no, I know. I have cousins that live down in. They're a little further down in Georgia, um, but yeah, she says people because she grew up in Wisconsin, and she's like, yeah, people freak out like over an inch of snow, and
Yes.
like for us, it's like, well, it's a dusting, but it's no big
Yeah.
deal. And you don't even turn on
Yeah.
the four wheel for that. You just kind of go about your day, brush it off.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, it
oh,
was definitely it was super nice up there. Like it blew my expectations out of the water. I mean, I didn't really have any because I've never been that direction, but I loved it.
yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it is. We definitely get 4 seasons. We get really hot in summer, and then we get really cold in winter.
Hmm.
Sometimes we skip fall and spring. This year we kind of skipped fall, or last year. Um, so we'll see. It's kind of whatever. And then if you come up here during like deer hunting season, they're really skeptical on how the weather is because they want a little
Yes.
snow, but they don't want a lot because they want to be able to track.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Usually we get a mountain of snow by then. But now that the league has wrapped up here this season, if there was one moment that you could call your favorite, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. Um, I would say we talked about this I think before you had started recording, but the home run derby was just something like that was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and like it was so cool the way that they set it up, with the divisions, and like we were in with the baseball players like and the all-stars. It was so much fun, and it just really felt like we were finally like being accepted into the Northwoods League, just because like it was almost like when the softball girls were up, like the crowd got louder because they knew like how important this was for softball. And like it felt so good to be acknowledged as like a female athlete out there. And I think that was just it's just a pivotal moment overall for this league. And I'm excited for the league to grow so that maybe they can eventually do like an all-star game instead of like just the derby. But it was so much fun. The banquet was fun. That was probably like that was a really really like memorable moment of the summer for me. But I have to go with the favorite memory being with the team. Like my team, anytime there was rain delays, like I just mentioned with like the flood in our parking lot, the rain delays, we had many of them, but anytime we had a rain delay, we knew it was going to be a good night, like a fun night. Like we made the most of it. We would go in the locker room and hang out, and that was definitely just those little moments was definitely like the highlight of my summer with them. I think that's when we got the closest. The charter bus rides, anyone else would be like, oh my gosh, a 12-hour charter bus ride, but like we were, and in the moment we may not have been like the peppiest about it,
Yeah.
but looking back I'm like I would hop on a 12-hour charter with them again right now. Like I love them so much, and I loved spending those little moments with them. So I think just the little moments all together were definitely the highlight of my summer and the ones that I'll remember.
All right. So then we got more of the in-depth questions answered here, and then we go to kind of the more fun questions. Definitely for fans to get to know you a little bit better. Um,
Okay.
so we'll start it out. So this is my favorite question, but you're at the ballpark, and it tells a lot about people. Um,
Oh gosh.
what is
Okay.
your favorite concession snack?
Okay. So are we talking typical concession or like at Warner Park, because they have a lot?
You can go whatever.
Okay. At Warner Park, I'm not gonna lie, I had cheese curds for the first time.
Oh
They're
yeah,
so good.
they're delicious.
So good. But I love the cheese curds. Like those are pretty up there at Warner Park. But I think anywhere else, I'm definitely going for if they have like a popsicle, I'm going for a popsicle for sure. See, that's probably a southern thing. That's
Yeah,
probably
that's
a
not
southern.
something we get up here. We are definitely more of a hot food.
Yeah, see, like down in like if they always have like the little popsicles like at concession stands down here, and that's probably my go-to. But other than that, like between like a hot dog and hamburger, I'm going hot dog all day.
Yep, hot
So
dogs are a great
yeah,
choice.
yeah,
For me, it's ballpark nachos.
okay, those are good too.
If I can get, especially like you go to a professional game, you get like the jalapenos on there,
Yep,
a little bit extra spice, and you get the little memorabilia helmet. That's usually pretty cool.
yep.
And then that's probably my favorite snack. We kind of already answered that one. But now are you a gum or a sunflower seed gal?
Dumb, dumb.
Um,
Yep,
okay,
for sure. And I think it's because like my field at college, at my college, she's really like OCD. Like we can't spit seeds like anywhere, and that's most like complexes around like nicer fields and stuff. But if I'm like out, I love sunflower seeds, but I swear they taste better when you can spit them out freely and not in a cup.
oh
I
yeah, no,
swear.
no, yep, I totally agree with that. I think it's gross.
Yeah, like I can't sit there and like eat sunflower seeds and spit them in a cup. That's weird to me. Like I'm going gum. So, but if I'm out like not at a field and I can like spit them freely, then sunflower seeds. Yeah.
Okay, now what would be so let's ask both sides. What's your favorite flavor of gum or sunflower seeds?
Gum, like during a game, I'm going like just original like bubble gum. I love that during a game. I don't know what it is. I will say every Nightmares game, our coach would bring the little what are they called?
Big
Like
League Chew?
ice. No, well, he did bring those, but he would always bring us like like 5 different containers of like the icebreaker gum, and we would
Okay.
like demolish it. Like every game, we would demolish it. But usually, I'm like a bubble gum girl during a game, and then sunflower seeds. I love barbecue. Love barbecue sunflower seeds.
Yeah, that's a good flavor to go with.
Yeah.
I like barbecue as well. Um, Other than that, I do like what Biggs is doing with the taco flavor. The Taco Bell and then the hot wings one they got over there. Those-
Yeah, a lot of my friends are big fans of the dill pickle ones.
Yeah, see, I used to eat those. I can't eat them anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm a barbecue girl.
yeah, but leading to our next question, what is your favorite TV show?
Oh my goodness. We watched Love Island all summer. The charter bus drives were filled with Love Island and all the drama on Love Island. However, overall, like lifetime Grey's Anatomy. I've watched Grey's Anatomy like 5 times through and through, and I'm actually a registered nurse, so it kind of like brought that together. But I am a nurse, and I watched Grey's Anatomy growing up, so that has to be my number one.
Okay, Grey's Anatomy. That seems to be a popular one. I think Paige said the same
Yes.
thing. Uh,
Really? Yeah. Yep.
I can't remember, but yeah, I know that's a long running series. I've seen it a couple times, never really got
Mhm.
involved with it. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, um, it's a pretty common one. So you're on a deserted island, and you can only bring three things. What are the three things you're bringing?
So deserted island means no service. I'm bringing probably. I have to have a blanket. Like I just have to have a nice blanket, big blanket girl. Aquaphor.
Okay.
I have Aquaphor with me everywhere I go. And then I'm just gonna assume that I'm just like eating out in the wild, so I'm not gonna pick food. Blanket, Aquaphor, and probably a toothbrush. I have to have a toothbrush.
Okay.
I think I would be fine with those 3
You
things,
you, you have
honestly.
a so I was gonna say you can get service. We'll say so like if you
Oh,
we'll
okay.
to that because that's how Paige kind of influenced it as well. But I'll let you. So say we get service because you pick very practical things. Let's see if we get a little bit more.
Okay. If I have service, I'm bringing my iPad because I could watch TV on that comfortably, and I can like communicate with people on that if I have service. So definitely my iPad. I would probably bring. I play the Switch a lot. I have a Nintendo Switch. I play it a lot. Play the Nintendo sports game on that a lot. I'd bring that, have some fun. But I'd still probably have to go with the blanket. I have to have a good blanket.
Big blanket gal.
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
do you like the tie blankets, or is it a special kind of blanket that you prefer?
I don't know if you know. Do you know like what a minky blanket is? I have a lot of those. They're like the
Hmm?
heavy ones, and they're like super cozy.
Oh, like the
Definitely.
weighted ones.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so a weighted blanket, and then you said your iPad, and what was the last thing?
If I could use like technology, it'd be my Switch, so I could stay
Oh,
entertained,
Switch.
and it's like active too. You know, you could play like active games. So.
For sure, for sure. And then moving on, kind of one of our closing questions. What is your favorite softball chant? Because I always like to hear those. They're always fun to listen to. If you got a good chant, let's hear it.
I will do this like nightmares version because there's like so many. But when we were in the dugout, it would be when we were hitting. Obviously, our little bat girl would actually, if a pitcher from the opposing team threw a ball, she would go like ball, 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 like really loud, and we would all like yell ball. And I feel like that just it was so simple, but then like the crowd would get involved, so it was super fun. And I think that it sometimes rattled the pitcher a little bit. So it was just like the best of both worlds. It was really fun, simple. Our Batgirl was involved. I loved that one.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the. I think it's the Aggies A&M when they throw a ball when they walk a person and then they go ball,
Mhm.
ball, four,
Yep.
and then they
Mhm.
keep counting up until they get a strike. That one,
Yep.
that's kind of sounds like that one. Uh,
Yeah.
just in maybe a little kinder of a way, uh,
Yeah.
and maybe less daunting. But
Mhm.
that kind of fills up all the questions that I've had for you, or have for you. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we kind of close things out for fans here today on this interview?
I think just a message to all the fans for all the teams in the Northwoods League. Like we appreciate you so much for just like for starting this journey with us and just for being like literally the best fan base ever. Like I think that it's super rewarding because I know that like I'm gonna follow all the girls' season, like college seasons from the other teams, and I know that the fans will too. So it feels really nice to just have that support system in the Midwest when I'm back in Kentucky. Like, so I think just saying thank you to the fans for following us for year one, and I hope that you guys only just get bigger and bigger for the years to come. So yeah.
And one last question: if you do have like if it does work out and it seems like you can play again, do you think you'll be back for the next season?
Well, I'm actually this is my last year of eligibility.
Okay.
I'm actually this is my extra year. So, I mean, we had a girl that did come back after her last year of eligibility on the Nightmares and play. I don't know where I'm kind of like I'm done with nursing. I have like my career set. So I think that it's leaning towards me finishing my career here at school, but I think that in the future if an opportunity arose and I was able to like come back and give back to the Northwoods League in another way, like coaching or something like that, I definitely would. So I think it's just wherever the wind takes me, whatever happens happens, but I have nothing but good feedback for the Northwoods softball league in general. So definitely like we'll give back in the future some way somehow, but
Awesome to hear. So
yeah.
thank you for your time here, Carly. And I do wish you the best of luck moving forward in the future. So everybody, that was Carly Oliver, second baseman for the Madison Nightmares, and we got a little in-depth look with her. I hope you all enjoy it.
Thank you.